Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Can you turn on a microphone, please? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, very good. Okay, let's continue. This is weeknight, so let's continue to listen to Great Master YongHua's instructional talks.
最难度的众生不这样想，所以修行不这样想。容易度的菩萨也不想这个众生我不度他是一个最难度的众生他就是再不容易度菩萨也不想这个众生我不度他是一个最难度的众生不这样想有任何的麻烦。
Yeah, I apologize. The audio's not in sync. I'm gonna search for it right.
你觉得有麻烦，正是你的功，所以他就做众生。菩萨常常觉得众生是可怜悯的，他就是你觉得有麻烦，正是你的功夫不成就，没有。觉得有烦恼，所以他就做众生。菩萨常常觉得众生是可怜悯的，他就是再不容易度菩萨也不想
Bodhisattvas often feel living beings are pitiful and confused. No matter how difficult it is to cross them over, the bodhisattvas do not think.
这个众生我不度他是一个最难度的众生不这样想。
I won't cross over this living being. He is the most difficult to cross over. They, the bodhisattvas, don't think like that.
所以修行修来修去，你只着心不去。
So in cultivation, no matter how much you cultivate, if you cannot let go of the mind of attachment,
你人我相打不开。 始终不会成功。
As long as you don't break through the mark of others, the mark of human beings, and the mark of self, from beginning to end, you will not succeed.
你有人相、我相，人家不对，我对。
When you have the mark of others and the mark of self, you see others are wrong and I'm right.
人家不好，我好；人家都是第二，我就是第一。啊，人相我相。
Others are not good and I am good. Others are all number two, but I'm the number one. You have the mark of others and the mark of self.
又有男相女相，啊，这个女人怎么样坏？那个女人怎么样坏？
You also have the mark of men and the mark of women. How bad is this woman? How bad is that woman?
那个男人又怎么坏？那个男人又怎么坏？净想人的坏处。
How bad is this man and how bad is that man? You constantly think about bad things about others.
这男相女相撇不开，你这种执着。
You can't let go of the mark of men and the mark of women. You have such attachment.
修道要把这一切的相放下。所谓看得破，放得下。
To cultivate the way, you need to let go of all these marks. We say can see through, can let go.
看什么看得破？就是看这个人我相，看这个男女相，要把它看得破，放得下。
What can you see through? That's to see the mark of self and others, the mark of men and women. You should see through it and let it go.
你修的男不知道是男，女不知道是女。
You cultivate to the point that you don't know man is man, woman is woman.
你见着男人，啊，也不知道他是男人；见着女人，也不知道他是女人。我们既然
When you see a man, you don't know he is a man. When you see a woman, you don't know she's a woman.
不知道这种相，又有什么烦恼可成呢？
Since you don't know such mark, how can there be afflictions?
在古来，这些大德高僧，每一个高僧都有他的特长。
In ancient time, the great virtuous eminent monks, every eminent monk has his own strengths.
Okay, I think he's switching to a different topic. Okay, so let's go back to revisit what Master YongHua just taught us. 134. Okay, we missed this audio file here a little bit, but it's worth bringing it up. He says that we are called living beings because we have afflictions. As long as you have afflictions, you are considered a living being. Doesn't matter who you are. So from a Buddhist perspective, we don't look at you at various criteria that worldly people look at, like your skin color, your where you came from, and so forth. All we care about is how afflicted you are. If you're afflicted, then you're a living being. If you're not afflicted, then you're a special being. All right? It's very simple. In particular, he says, because the Bodhisattva has wisdom contrary to us, the Bodhisattvas have no afflictions. That's why when they look at us living beings who are so afflicted, that they bring forth the mind of pity and compassion. That's a difference. It's not words. It's a state of being. Okay? The difference between living beings and bodhisattvas, the difference between confusion and illusion and wisdom is afflictions. Whether if you have afflictions, what are afflictions? Afflictions are the vexations, are the outflows, you will. Another word we use in the Chan world is outflows, meaning that it's a leakage, if you will, meaning that you have the intrinsic life force, life energy, and you allow it to leak out. You allow your afflictions to drain you. So what are afflictions? Afflictions are anything that drains you, drains your battery, if you will. Okay, it's a very fundamental concept. It's not until I went to learn Buddhism that the concept of affliction or leakages or drainages or outflows became obvious. Because for us, human beings, ordinary beings, living beings, we have afflictions, we have outflows, we have leakages, we are drained constantly. And the main thing is that there's nothing we can do about it. Interestingly, you learn at school, you go to places and learn and acquire knowledge, all sorts of knowledge, whether it's architecture, whether it's engineering, whether it's making money, whether it's art and so forth. They all are about causing even more afflictions, more drainages, more leakages from you. Have you thought about it? All our learning, all our knowledge only increase our leakages, our outflows. The more successful we are, the more afflictions we have, the more leakages we have. Yes, Green.
A Di Đà Phật. Dạ thưa thầy, trong những bài giảng trước thì thầy có dạy rằng khi gặp phiền não thì chúng ta chỉ cần nhập định thì cái phiền não đó tự nhiên là nó sẽ biến mất. Đó là cái pháp tu đốn ngộ. Câu hỏi của con là nếu mà chúng ta có thể thường thường làm được điều đó, tức là nhập định khi đối diện với phiền não, thì tướng ngã, tướng nhân từ từ nó sẽ bị biến mất hay không?
You have taught us that when we face with affliction, we only need to meditate. Naturally, the affliction will disappear. My question is, if we constantly enter samadhi, we constantly can do that, which means we constantly enter samadhi. Does it mean that we destroy our mark of other and the mark of self?
So there you have it. In Buddhism, fundamentally we know that we have a serious problem. We have leakages constantly. I remember there's an ex-disciple of mine who's rather stupid, and he insisted on installing a water filter for us. Okay. It's those cheap household water filters you buy, and you filter. They put they filter the water into a 2-gallon tank, and it's enough for household use. And he assembled himself. He did everything himself. So because this is what we do, if people volunteer, we say, okay, it will help you plant your blessings. Great, go for it. And until he installed it at actually water filter at Master Xianxin's house. He wanted to install one in my house. I said, no, I don't need a water filter. I'm tough, man. I don't need no water filter. Are you kidding? When you go to war, who needs water filters? Come on. Anyway, so he installed a water filter. And it turns out that it leaks like 5 gallons of water every single day. And my water bill is like crazy every single month. So I asked him, why? What is wrong? He says, let me look at it. And looked at it, and then he says, I did everything right. So this is how the system is. You want good water, you have to throw away bad water. And I was, okay, if you insist, it's you bought the water filter system, so what am I to tell you anything, okay? You owe money. He said, I only have to waste my own water bill, my water every month. So anyway, after 2-3 years, another disciple of mine went by the house and said, why is there so much water out there in front of the house? I said, well, it's from the water filter. He says, you really? Let me go take a look. It's kind of strange. And he says, whoever installed your water filter, it leaks because there's an attachment there that it flipped on the other wrong direction. That's why. So what an idiot. Anyway, everything he touches is an idiot. So that's, you see my problem for every single month. I look at my water bill and say, I didn't pay for this water filter system, but I'm paying dearly every month for a few years. until someone came by and fixed it for me. So can you imagine that it exactly happens to us, happens to you? Imagine that every single day you leaking water. Not just water, but also leaking your life energy, which is worth a lot more than water. Okay? It's a horrible, horrible thing. And no one taught us what to do about it. No one knows what to do about it. So, for example, we go and learn to meditate from the Hindus or from yoga and so forth. You stand on one foot and enter samadhi and om and so forth. Does it stop your outflows? No, it doesn't. It only slows down your outflows. That's it. Yes? You agree? You're still afflicted like hell. I mean, it's suicide. Because the answer to the question is that it depends on what kind of samadhi. The non-Buddhist samadhis you learn are not ultimate. That's why even when you enter their samadhis, you still have leakages, albeit a lot more minimized. If you're a programmer and you sit there on your desk all day and you work like this, you know what kind of drainage you have in your system? This is why all programmers, after a long time, they become like a cadaver, you know. I used to program myself, and you go berserk, okay? And because one of the most important leakages in your life is thinking. As long as you still think, doesn't matter how great a thinker you are, you could be a Nobel laureate, could be the genius kind of person, you still are having leakages. You still are having affliction. So in terms of afflictions here, the worst kind of affliction, the one thing you cannot do anything about is thinking. If you talk about anger, you talk about greed, yes, I feel like, oh, not tonight, I'm so full. I don't know why, but Northern California people, you eat too much at lunch, don't you think? Oh, I mean, I eat too much at lunch. It's one of my afflictions, eating. Oh, good Lord. Okay, so we have all sorts of afflictions from the three poisons: greed, anger, and stupidity. Okay? And all those are coarse forms of the underlying problem is thinking. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how smart you are, old or young, black or white, yellow or red. We all cannot stop thinking. Okay, and that's what happens to all the other Buddhist meditation and the non-Buddhist practices. You can be a great yogi, okay? You can stand on one foot, stand on 2 feet, on one hand, okay? But you cannot stop thinking. The highest level of samadhis they have, okay? You still have thinking. Okay? And that's why, or you could only suspend thinking temporarily. And as soon as you exit samadhi, you resume your thinking. Okay? So that's a long answer to the question. Just because you enter samadhi doesn't mean you can get rid of your mark of self, of others, of living beings, or lifespan. It's not that simple. The Buddhists are the only ones who dare talk about it, because the Buddha taught us the technology to stop all those leakages. You see the difference? In the non-Buddhist practices, whether it's worldly, you go to colleges, you go to great university, you do great research, okay? You build the Eiffel Tower and so forth. You create monuments. You take part in creating wonders in the world, okay? But all those cannot help you stop your leakages. And that's why the non-Buddhist knowledge seekers, they never talk about leakages or afflictions. They never talk about the importance of stopping the wastage of water, the wastage of life energy. Just imagine, I don't know about you, but for 3 years, every month I look at my water bill and say, really? This is what I have to pay for filtered water? It's ridiculous. I'm cheap. I'm very, very cheap. It bothers me, okay? I can waste money paying a lot of money on good Neapolitan pizza. It doesn't bother me at all, okay? But looking at water bill, they're paying like $50 for doing nothing, not even using water a month. It drove me crazy. Okay, and I admit to you, it's the Buddhist kind of thing where you're averse to having leakages when you can help it, right? It's just that worldly pursuits, meaning non-Buddhist pursuits, they don't talk about this. They don't talk about the importance and the seriousness, the big issue of stopping leakages. This is why we age. This is why we age so fast. This is why you die so young. I just read somewhere that some famous person died at the age of 49. That's premature. That's quite often because of these leakages. Is that clear? And amazingly, we are destined, we Buddhist practitioners are destined to be unpopular because we're doing things that others cannot do anything about. So what can they do but call us cults, call us idiots, losers, beggars, and so forth? Okay? But that's the better way to open our wisdom, unless you know the fundamental problem you face every day of your human existence, which is leakages. And that's why people of the world don't talk about it. They turn a blind eye on this because they can't do anything about it. The ones who teach meditation and spiritual practices, they can't really do anything about it. They slow it down a little bit, but they use it to make money, to make a living, build fame, seeking fame and profit. Because that itself is still a leakage. You see our problem? Inherent in our approach, if we're seeking fame and profit, that is a leakage. It's not ultimate. Just unglamorous is, whatever we do is not appreciated. Okay? I'm not complaining. It's just the way it is. And that's the nature of worldly knowledge and true wisdom. Okay? And once these bodhisattvas, they succeed in stopping their leakages, in order stopping these leakages, you need to undo all your afflictions. Okay? And when you're able to do that, then when you enter that type of samadhi where you're able to stop all outflows, when all afflictions come to an end, okay, then you will have true wisdom. And then you look at life differently, look at others differently. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. He's talking about these bodhisattvas are the ones that open true wisdom, meaning they put an end to all the outflows. In particular, the minds don't move at all. It's a fantastic state of mind where no matter what happens, they don't give rise to any single thought. Earthquake, super lotto, well, maybe except for super lotto. Food, fragrance, anything you can think of. Nothing moves them. 如如不动. Thus, that's unmoving. That's a state of wisdom. Okay? And these bodhisattvas perfected that. They're able to do that. That's why they look at living beings and say, boy, you guys have so many outflows. Your water is leaking every single day. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Your life energy is leaking every day. See, in a way, when I think about it, it has to be fair to Confucius. I've been criticizing Confucius this winter for some reason. I don't know. I'm temperamental. I have to admit to you, I have too many afflictions. This year, I decided to pick on Confucius. I said, Confucius, I hate him. I don't like him because he brainwashes you, beautiful Asian people. It's pitiful. I see how you Asians are so brainwashed, and I was too until recently. And I said, and the Westerners don't have the issue. They're taught to respect women and talk about equality and so forth. But it turns out, I look back, actually, the Westerners have more leakages than us. They age a lot faster than we do. You realize that? I remember I was in a French high school, and on the 12th grade, all the it was in Vietnam, Saigon, Vietnam, and all the French girls. There's a few of them there, several of them there in our school. Only French school in Vietnam, in Saigon. They look like they're in their late 20s or early 30s, because they have too many afflictions. Whereas us Asians, we look like we don't age at all for like 40 or 50 years, I like to think. Okay? So this is what's so damaging about leakages. You look so old, you age so prematurely, and you have low in energy, and so forth. So it really makes a huge difference, trust me. Okay? So bodhisattvas, they put an end to all their leakages. This is when they said, it's possible. Okay? I found a way. I practice according to my Buddha's teachings. Okay? It really worked. Worked for me, worked for my teachers, worked for my peers, the other bodhisattvas. Because when they enter this bodhisattva samadhi, then there's no more leakages. Okay? And so it said, but these living beings, these poor suckers, and these poor losers, they are so confused. They're so pitiful. And now, looking back, I was just like them as well. So it's fair to me that I should try to help them. Why? That's how I repay my teacher's kindness. He gave me this life. What am I going to do? What are we doing to repay our teacher's kindness? So this is what the bodhisattvas feel. They have this deep gratitude towards the teachers that, my gosh, he gave me this life. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful life. Sounds like a title of a song. Never mind. You guys are so boring. You Asians are so boring. How can you live like that? Anyway, so they said, these people are so pitiful, they're suffering so much, they're so confused. And I remember those days where you have a problem, you have no idea what to do. Okay, even the biggest names like Elon Musk, the kinds of people that he looks up to. Say, I wish I could be that successful. He's muddling through like the rest of us. He just have more blessings than us. That's why he makes more money. But he's just as confused as all of us. And it's in management, the word is called muddling through the problems. We're muddling through life because that's all we know. The things we learn in school and colleges don't prepare you to deal with your biggest issues in life. We talk about seeking happiness, especially in this country, okay, in the Western civilization, because we're so unhappy. That's why we never stop talking about seeking happiness. Because all of these people keep on seeking for happiness and they never succeeded. That's why I say, I'm pursuing happiness. How much longer are you going to pursue happiness? The Bodhisattvas don't say, I'm pursuing happiness. Okay? They're happy. That's why I say, oh, you guys are so pitiful. I need to do something to help you out because I owe my teacher. My teacher gave me this happiness, brought me where I am today. And he never asked for anything from me. So the best thing for me to repay his kindness is to share with you. Okay? That's how bodhisattvas feel. Okay? They said, I know you guys are, don't listen. Doesn't matter what we tell you. You're easily distracted. Yeah. And that's 1,000 hands and eyes, kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. It's also made of Chandana wood. Don't touch.
No touchy. I'm not touchy.
See? So afflicted already. At an early age, he's afflicted already. He says, see, you talk to them, they argue with you. You try to teach them. Yeah, they're so afflicted. Both of them. Okay, it's so difficult. They don't listen, it's very difficult. They want it their way. Difficult to cross them over because they insist on having it their way. Okay? And there, there's some, recently there's some people who came out of temple and been listening to our Dharma lectures on the video on YouTube and so forth. They say, oh, this is so good. I want to learn from you. I want to follow you every day to see what you do. I say, what? Even like when I go to the bathroom. Anyway, or when I eat. Come on, give him some privacy, man. Anyway, they realize sincere. They really want to learn. You have to give them that. However, there's a problem. Problem is that they want it their way. Okay, that's why it's so difficult to cross them over. Living beings are very, very difficult to cross over because they insist on having their ways. They said, I'm successful. I got here by figuring things out. Okay? I have more money than you. I'm more successful than you. Okay? So I'm going to if I'm going to put an end to my affliction as you suggest I should, let's do it my way. Okay? That's very difficult. Right. It's that I won't cross over living is the most difficult crossover. And that's why please don't take me wrong, I'm sounding defensive because people say, how come you turn down these people, you chase these people away and you kick them out? Because they insist on having their ways. You don't realize it. I learned so much, pick up so much junk my entire life. So when I started cultivating Buddhism, I spent so much time unloading all the garbage. Non-Buddhist garbage, okay, that gives you prejudices, okay, and then Buddhist garbage as well from the unenlightened Buddhist teachers. Just because the monks and nuns are famous doesn't mean they are enlightened. So whatever they teach you is junk. And that's the problem I have with these people who came to our temple and say, oh, you sound good and I'd like to be enlightened because you keep on talking about enlightenment. Unlike the other monks and nuns, the other monks and nuns talk about raising money for a bridge, for another temple, for statues, for, charity and so forth. We talk about enlightenment. They say, all those are outflows. Bridges are outflows. Raffles are outflows. Temples are outflows. Why do we need to build a temple? They said, no, the outflow. Okay? So they like it. So they want to learn. Okay? But they said, I'm going to do it my way, you hear? That's why it's very difficult to cross over. So that's why until you prove that you're willing to let go of the baggage, of your baggage, it's very difficult for you to change. I spent 3 years of my life unloading all the garbage in my head. Sat there every single day. I will tell you, the whole day, sat there. And all these garbage came up, all these. What comes up? You know what comes up when you meditate? Movies. James Bond movies. I love James Bond movies. I don't know about you. I still do. So you see, all these things that came up and all the teachings about smiling and oh, good Lord, all these things, yeah, and every day all these thoughts came up. I said, oh, no, not that one. Throw it out. To the point where the most efficient way to do, you know what was to do? After sitting there every day and looking at all this garbage, I said, let's do it very quickly. Let's do it wholesale. How do you do it wholesale? Would you like to learn how to do wholesale? Dumping? Huh? I go by name. Okay, I say if it goes begin with that monk there, that where I can learn from his books or her books and whatever, automatically dump, dump, dump. All the thoughts associated with that, dump, dump, dump. No thinking. It took 3 years. I'm serious. It took me 3 years to dump all the knowledge I had. Because most of the knowledge I acquired, especially about Buddhism, is garbage. You would not believe how much I read. Like a typical, educated person, you read, and you pick up things, you read, and you synthesize. Yes? You college grads, isn't that what you do? You read papers, you synthesize, and when you get to a PhD level, you make your own garbage. So anyway, it's very difficult. Again, what's sad about the search for knowledge, for the worldly people do, ordinary people do, is that it creates attachments. It makes it worse for you. It makes you more attached to being famous, attached to being recognized as a big contributor to society, to civilization. You're chasing after the wrong things. So this is it makes it very difficult for the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas. As we revolve, this is real reincarnation, we add more and more achievements to our, to our list of accomplishments. And therefore, we have layers upon layers of attachments. Okay? That's why, yes. Great.
Master, what does it feel like after you dump those thoughts? I believe you don't forget about all those knowledges, but what's the difference before and after you dump all those
The difference is
knowledges?
that, I tell you a very funny thing, it's so simple and yet most people don't realize it. This is why we basically I told my disciples, there are a couple of people who have been following us and then asking us a lot of things, that ignore them, okay? Because they won't listen. Okay, so the difference is that you remember when I talked about wholesale dumping? So I go by and because I used to go to the bookstore and we had no money, so because bookstore allowed you to sit there and read books, so read books on meditation, on tantras, you name it. That's before the things were available on the internet. Okay, now it's much worse than before. Especially the translations from the Japanese teachings into English. It's all garbage. I'm telling you that right now. All translations, garbage. Dump. Anything Japanese, English translation from Japan, throw it out. I have books on Dogen, books on Kukai, and so forth. It's all garbage. Translation. The original teaching may not be garbage, but the translation is all garbage. See, that's called wholesale dumping. So you dump and dump and dump, okay, to the point where when you meditate, those thoughts don't arise anymore. That's all. And that's the difference between the two people and you, the recent people who came to our temple trying to get trained. They said, but my teacher says so, but my system says so, but my Theravada teaching says so, my Hinayana teaching says so, my Chinese teaching says so, my Vietnamese teaching says so, my teacher told me to do Hua To and so forth, okay? And they insist on that. And it's such a waste of time. You don't realize how wonderful it is for you to sit there and all that things there, the reference points to you, so important to you. Your guru, your lama, your shifu, your great master, and the great patriarch. You think the patriarchs are great? Some patriarchs are pretty lousy. Like to me, fifth patriarch is pretty lousy. I'm disappointed in fifth patriarch. Okay, he's all fluff. You don't teach 3,000 people and no one's enlightened. I mean, we Americans look at results, okay? Don't give me any bull. You don't teach 3,000 people. You allow 3,000 or 1,000 people to come and live with you. They give you their lives. And none of them is enlightened. Especially the one famous one. What's his name? That loser. Sheng Xiu. Sheng Xiu. He's a basket case of Buddhism. He knows a lot of Buddhist knowledges, and they're all garbage. He doesn't even know what those mean. Okay, and that's why these two people, as soon as they always shine the light on your teaching based on their attachments, their teachers' things. And you cannot do that. You want to learn, okay? You have to dump the garbage. Because if you have carry this baggage here, okay, this is why you're in trouble in the first place. It's weighting you down. You can't go very far with all the weight, extra weight you're doing. Okay? So that's why this is why it's so damaging for these famous teachers. And they're so famous, and a lot of people follow them, and therefore, because there's so many people follow them, therefore, must be something great. Well, 1,000 mosquitoes follow you around is not necessarily a good thing. 10,000 flies, I mean, Jesus, you can't impress me. Here I go again. Yes, Orange.
Master, can you give us an example that how do we dump our thoughts during the meditation?
You dump it by undoing this attachment. He says, this is a teaching from great master Hongren. I'm that brutal to my disciples. I tell them it's Hongren, whatever Hongren teaches, garbage. No thinking, no discrimination. That's brutality. That's ruthlessness. It's Hongren stuff, I dump it immediately. I don't care he's a patriarch. Okay? That's how fast it is. Let's go wholesale. Yeah? You too.
Thank you, Master. We have a YouTube question from Cordelia Lee. How can I dump garbage? I don't know where to find the delete button. Does this dumping process work with our habit energy?
The dumping here refers to that the reason when you meditate and you, this thought, and you meditating and all of a sudden this thought, this teaching from that certain famous teacher, and so many of them, arise in your mind. Okay? That happens because, why? Why is that? Because you are attached to that teacher. That's why it's very difficult for me to tell the two new guys who are trying to get training and trying to learn, and they watch videos and they like my clowning around, and oh, this is fun. No, it's not fun, okay? If I say something like that, something I say X, and the teacher says Y, okay? And they respect the teacher, say, hey, you say X, but my teacher says Y. Why? Okay? There's conflict because of the inherent attachment, the respect for the teachers. So dumping is that I don't respect you. I don't care what you say. Try it for a while, see if it works. It doesn't work, bail out. And dump me as well. That's how brutal we are in America. We don't mess around. The new Asians are Confucian. Remember Confucian, the guy I don't like? You guys say, but Confucius tells us I need to be loyal to my teacher. I need to be grateful to my teacher. At the risk, at the price of not becoming a Buddha? Are you willing to do that? Go ahead, JMT.
네, 안녕하세요. 남편의 삼매의 단계를 알고 싶어서 이 질문을 드리게 됐는데, 네, 남편, 들리세요? 네, 남편의 삼매 단계를 알고 싶어서 이 질문을 드리게 됐는데요. 그러니까 마스터지께 남편의 삼매 단계를 여쭤봤더니 안 알려주셨고, 안 알려주시는 건 이유가 있다고 생각을 하니까 제 입장에서는 제가 남편의 삼매를 알아봐야 되고, 그렇다면 제가 제 레벨에서 어떤 노력을 해야 하면 남편의 삼매를 알 수 있는지를 질문드립니다. 다른 사람은 뭐 잘 모르고 사실 정말 알고 생각이 전혀 없고 남편의 삼매 단계만 좀 궁금해서 질문드립니다. 감사합니다. 네. 네, 그러니까 제가 지금의 레벨에서 어떤 어떤 수행을 하거나 뭘 해야 남편의 그러니까 삼매 단계를 알 수 있는지. 네. 네.
Master, this is about my husband. I like to know what's my husband's samadhi level. I asked Master Z, but he did not answer the question. I understand maybe there is a reason. So my question is, what do I need to do to find out my husband's samadhi level at this level of my samadhi? What kind of cultivation do I need to do to find out? the level of my husband's samadhi level, samadhi.
I don't know how to answer your questions anymore. You know, I like it when you stick around where I abuse you so much, but I can only abuse you so much publicly. Before my disciple have doubts about me, I give you a short answer. None your business. You understand? The question is very good, because if what happened is that you need to be willing to say, my teacher's teaching got me nowhere. I don't care, it's the fifth patriarch. Sheng Xiu should have said, I am not enlightened yet. The fifth patriarch should have taught him, if you're not enlightened yet, abandon me and go look for a teacher, you hear? Because I can't help you, my teacher cannot help you. He didn't teach them. The Chinese don't teach them. The Chinese are confusion, brainwashing. You have to be grateful to me for life. What kind of nonsense is that? A teacher is supposed to help you become enlightened. It's not about them. It's not about loyalty. It's not about you becoming enlightened. And at some point in time, you have to be taught. If you're getting nowhere, you should not stick around. Go look for somewhere else. And that's what's lacking in the Chinese system, the Asian system. You're too confusions, brainwashed. What is the matter with you? You're old, you're near death, and you still nowhere become enlightened because you are attached to all the wrong stuff. The Americans are ruthless. They say, hey, give me a raise. Give me love. If I'm not getting what I want, I'm out of here. Yeah? Forget about Confucius. That's what I mean. You guys, especially Koreans, I have to be grateful to my husband. So I want to know what his level is. Because Master, you taught me I need to be grateful to my husband. You two, go ahead.
Thank you, Master. Alex asks, when you dump all your attachments and you don't focus on any mark, there will still be situations where you have to interact with a contentious person. What are you supposed to react to?
Yes. I don't know what you're supposed to react to. I don't know where to begin.
Alex has a follow-up.
Before you ask more questions, sit for 10 hours. And that's my answer. You ask too many questions. I ask one, depending on your level, if I give you information, you ask for more information. It's endless. It's not going to help you. You're seeking knowledge. Okay? Knowledge that you're seeking, I can give it to you as much as you want. But it has to be only under two different conditions. Number one, you pay me. Okay? I'm cheap. Pay me like $10 per question. Each and every one of you. Yeah, great deal. Yeah. Because the reason we are in the midst of a Chanchi, the process of Chanchi, you notice is that you sit for the entire day, and we spend 1 hour or less talking to you. And because we're catching up with the Chinese is so too proud for me, and I really bothers me. Look at us, and you are not Chinese. What do you know about Buddhism? I said, you Chinese, how come you don't know anything about your Buddhism? Is my answer to them. Well, anyway, so because we need to do catch up, that's why catching up, a lot of seers catching up, because the Chinese are like thousands of years ahead of us, so we better catch up. So that's why we speak a lot more Dharma, spend a lot more time speaking Dharma to you, and insisting upon the certain teaching. The Chinese are gradual. Nowadays, the Chinese teachers are gradual teachers. No one understands certain teaching anymore, including Master YongHua disciples. They only understand the gradual part of his teaching. They don't understand the certain part of his teaching. And this is a problem with the Chinese patriarchs. They don't understand certain teaching. Xu Yu does not understand certain teaching. He spent, what is it? Fact is that he spent his entire life, 19 years old, he started becoming a monk already. And his entire life have no interest in sex, no interest in women, no interest in anything, but cultivate. See that? It's a spirit being. And he became a monk at the age of 19. Okay? And he cultivated until the age of 54 before he became enlightened. That's too slow. That means that all he understands is gradual. So his Huatou is also gradual. Gradual Huatou. It's a poor form of Huatou. Okay. Anyway, so look, you spend 10 hours a day sitting, enduring it, and you fall asleep, and you're cold, and so forth. You have a lot of obstructions. Your wife calls you, your husband calls you, come home. I see you think are you still my husband or not? And so forth. And so you have to undergo a lot of tests, a lot of challenges, and then at the end of the day, you got to listen to the great Dharma. Okay, 1 hour. That's all you get, and with translation, it's half an hour. Okay, so basically, you're quadrupling your Dharma intake at our Chanchis. The Chinese, especially at Master YongHua's temples, they get 30 minutes of Dharma every single night. Give you, what is it, an hour, usually an hour and a half, 2 hours, more typical between an hour and a half and 2 hours. It's like 3 times, triple the dosage of the Chinese. Doesn't explain to you why our people are a lot faster than the Chinese? So anyway, because these you have to earn the instruction. You don't just ask more and more and more and more. Because if that's all you do, I give you junk and charge you $10 per piece. I don't discriminate. As long as I give you an answer, $10. Ching, like online thing now, huh? We take credit card, MasterCard, American Express, Apple Pay, YouTube. See, in hours, we passed an hour already. We haven't said anything important yet. See how easy it is to make money? $10 a piece? YouTube question.
Oh, sorry, Master. Technical difficulties. Shen Kung, please, you can take the YouTube down.
Okay. And this is what he did here is give you some theory from a prajna teaching. If you have wisdom, if you have wisdom, then you would not have these problems, would not be attached to what they call the mark of. Okay? The mark here is a very important concept. As long as you have a mark, meaning that you have an attachment. Okay? If you put $5 into a donation box right there, and praise the Lord. Okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. You put all is in there. Okay? The way that the Chinese taught their disciples is that you give and you forget. You give nothing. As soon as the money leaves your hands and falls into the bottom of the donation box there, okay, it's gone. It's no donation anymore in your mind. Okay? And because if you didn't have that, then you have marks of money, marks of donation boxes, marks of, charity, marks of donation, marks of, and so forth. I hope Masters notices that I am just stop by the donation box and linger around for 5 minutes, preparing the envelope with so much respect, even write down my name, disciple, so-and-so, most reverently make offerings to Triple Jewel. Okay, and so forth. And so that's a mark because you still see, you still have these attachments. A mark here is not just perception, but also it means this is the Vajra teaching is not explained clearly by the Chinese. That's why they struggle so much. They keep on talking about the mark of others, mark of men, mark of living being, mark of lifespan, so forth. It's not the mark. They're too abstract. And this is why when it's translated into Vietnamese, into Korean, it gets further lost. It gets further diluted. When they talk about mark here in the prajna teaching, in Buddhism, Mahayana, is that you attach to. You attach to donations. You attach to a $5 bill. Okay? That's what you look at. It's not the mark of the greenback or the mark of the yuan and the mark of the dong and the mark of the won and so forth. It's that you attach to that. That's what's so pitiful about you. It's a piece of paper. You can't take it with you. You bring it home, your wife spends it anyway. Okay? And so what happened here when they talk about the prajna teaching, they talk about the 4 kinds of marks. Marks of self, mark of others, mark of living beings, mark of a lifespan. These are very deep, seated attachments in our psyche. Me. Yes? That's mark of self. I am important. Let's face it. What else is there? Who else is more important than me? In Buddhism, for example, the patriarchs, they all have their attendants. You know that? Their attendants who attend to the patriarch. They, Master Wei Shan would have Yang Shan bring him a basin of water. He has no running water back then, or take out the party thing. Okay, it's a nasty thing. So, anyway, aren't you glad you don't have to do those things anymore? And I'm digressing. But the point here is that, so what happened is these attendants actually are being trained to let go of those marks, What they don't realize, oh, the master needs me, he's weak, and he needs me to help him, stable him as he walks to the toilet. Okay, and then they go back and tell the next attendant, because it's 24 hours a day, and that, and they share, they share what the master is weaknesses and whatever. It's all those are actually the patriarch's training to point out to you your attachments. Master Srila used to do that too. He used to live by himself and allow his students to spend the night with him or the day with him. Okay, and so that they observe him, but none of them realize that they observe how detached he is about everything in life. Not to observe like Jumi and say, what level is my husband? None of your business. Okay, worry about your own level, girl. Okay, so this marks here refers to a deep-seated attachment that you have about a self. Okay, meaning me, 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 me. Who else is there? Okay? And then there's an attachment, and not from beginning to end. Ultimately, not beginning to end. This is so Chinese. Look at this. Change it. Fix this. As long as you have the attached, cannot break through the marks, whatever it is, ultimately, you cannot succeed. That's the message. In Chinese, I don't know why you Chinese people cannot express yourself in English. I don't get it. And here's the damage. You translate it like this, and then it gets translated back into Chinese because they say, oh, Master YongHua explained Master Xuanhua's Dharma. In English, we translate it back to Chinese. You don't find it funny? How come you look younger and younger? What's the matter with you? I look, no, you, yeah, I get older. It's just the hair is turning white. Some deep-seated attachment somewhere. Got that? Yeah, so, ultimately, you cannot succeed. Just forget about from beginning to end. That kind of nonsense. You do it. Okay. Okay, very good. You see that? He says, it's so beautiful, the teaching here, but it gets massaged in a way that's becomes so gentle. But it's very brutal. He says, if you attach to yourself, you attach to your son, you attach to white people versus black people, yellow people versus red people, confusion versus non-confusion. That's an attachment, okay? You cannot succeed. You have to let go. Yes, yellow person.
I don't know. I'm just looking at the Chinese. I wonder why Master Xuanhua says 打不开, like 你人我相打不开. Like why the mark is to, like cannot open. It's like open a door. I just don't know if there's a particular.
Cannot understand.
Cannot understand.
Kai is up here.
It's
okay. See, I told you, the Chinese don't even understand their own language. 想不开,想不通. 看不破 later. That's what you mean. Okay. Guys, open up, open your mind. You're so tunnel vision, like these young people. They're so tunnel. Look at the ones sitting by the window. They all are very, very focused. They are the example. Ta bukai. Over there too. You see, they know what they're doing. You see, they're successful. Look at that guy in yellow cap. Ta bukai. Because he says, I know what I'm doing. Right? Because it's an attachment to knowledge. Okay? You cannot succeed. Yeah. When you have a mark of others, have a mark of self, you see others are wrong and I'm right. Yeah. Again, this is for babies. So we don't talk like that. Okay. You're not good, I'm not good. Of course, that's trivial. I'm number one, you're number two, and so forth. Mark of a man, a mark of a woman. Of course. How? This is what I struggle with. I listen to this. He says this a lot. All the Chinese teachers talk like this. It bothers the heck out of me. And then the Vietnamese pick up on translation, they speak the same thing. They speak the same way. And then the Koreans as well. Say something, Shorty. Okay. It's like this girl is amazing. For 2 hours you can sit there. When she first came, I was cracking jokes. Everyone's laughing, but it's like verboten. Cannot laugh. Now she laughs and she doesn't do anything. Anyway, so just they talk like this. They keep on talking mark of man, mark of woman, mark, and I didn't understand it. I mean, the question, the problem for us Westerners, Western educated people is that I'm seeing you. I'm seeing you, old monk. I'm seeing you, Chinese person who's trying to teach me, who's a non-Chinese person. So how am I not supposed to see you? It didn't make sense to me. But that's how the Chinese talk. This is a cultural thing. You cannot translate it like this. You're gonna see a mark of a man, a mark of a woman. Yes, it's the jargon, but it needs to be elaborated and this refers to this very deep-seated attachment that I'm a man, I'm a macho man, I'm a warrior, I'm a ninja, I'm Japanese. You're not. Therefore, you're inferior. That's the underlying attachment. That's what you're supposed to undo. It's not referring that you see a man and that's wrong. Okay? How bad a man is, has a woman ears, and so forth. Okay? Mark a man, woman, you have such attachments. Okay? And again, he's talking to a bunch of white-faced babies. Okay? But then this is how the Chinese talk. This is how the Asians speak when they speak Dharma. Cultivate and let go all these marks. Can see through, can let go. 干得破，放不下. What does it mean? It's very important. Yes, Sunny boy. You don't know. Okay. Okay. We have one I don't know. Anyone else? Okay. The Chinese is so beautiful. And yet, they don't even understand. Oh, what's so sad about it? They only regurgitate and repeat it like, kan de po, kan po, fang xia. Okay? They dropped the kan de here. Okay? Kan po, fang xia. Okay? What does it mean? Yes, Chinese person.
One who cannot do it, I can just talk about it. So I think the see-through is referring to like those things are not real, right? Everything's fake. So you see through the fakeness, and you see that everything is bubbles, and then what is that word? Yeah, 梦幻泡, bubbles, and then like unreal. So that's the see-through. And then 放得下 is dropping. It's not attached to things, not grasping, but just let go.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? Yes, another Chinese person. They get offended, Hey, this is our Dharma, our language. What are you talking about? We know what we talk. Yeah, go ahead.
And see through, to me, it's not just the wording of it doesn't matter. It's that you know why it doesn't matter. And you sit through it. No, it doesn't important. Yeah. So you live it. Yeah. That's 放得下.
And I want you, abbots and vice abbots, you need to pay attention to this. Why the Chinese teach it like this? It's very, very important. Yes, another yellow-faced person on yellow.
Thank you, Sufu. What I think is, what you can see, acknowledge that, but you don't attach to it.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, green.
I think the is more like penetrate the phenomenon so that you can see the essence. So it's not only acknowledge it, but also like you see the real thing rather than be confused about the phenomenon.
Okay, very good. We got to have 放下. What does it mean?
That's the, you can drop the attachment that is really difficult to do.
Okay, very good. Jewel Conk.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So, see-through meaning that to see from the cause and effect, to see everything why it happens from the cause to the result.
Okay, very good. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have any prop to demonstrate to you. So I describe it to you. How's that? Okay, it's cheaper. See this? Middle class? Assume I drop it. What happens to it? It breaks. Okay. So this kanpo is that you break through here. All this thing here. Okay, and these forms, these appearances, these things you see are actually you break through the outside. Okay, and you break, and like you drop it here, and it's broken, it's gone, it's no longer there. It's no longer a candle thing. That's kanpo. That's how beautiful it is. The Chinese teaching is so beautiful. The reason you look at this, especially the Catholics, they said, I offer candle to my God. You see, they're offering this, and they say, they're so proud, I just offer candle to my God. For us, we can't pull, meaning that we don't need to offer anything to Buddha. Because we see that this is just a piece of glass, just some candle, it doesn't matter. We don't even attach an offering to God, offering to Buddha. Isn't that beautiful? We are brutal. Yes, we start by teaching you, yes, offer incense, but eventually you have to kanpo. You're not offering any incense. You're not offering anything at all. That's why I pretend to say, you can break the statue all you want. But it's all talk. You understand? Okay, but that's the principle behind it. Because it refers to the fact that we are so attached to these perception of ours, these forms. We're so attached to forms. That's why the Koreans, they're doing so well in the plastic surgery industry. They're so attached to the forms. Okay? And the kanpo here is so beautiful because you break through the outside and you realize there's nothing there. You have to go beyond the exterior. You see how beautiful the Chinese teaching is? Because if you drop this, you break this, it becomes useless to you, right? I mean, you say, you give it to me. No, dump it, throw it in the garbage. Exactly. That's what kanpo is. This is garbage. Isn't that incredible, the Chinese teaching? And yet they don't understand it. Say something, Shorty. Kanpo is that what the Chinese teachers are telling us is that whatever is outside there, that glamour, that beauty, that beautiful Chanel No. 5 fragrance, okay, and those designer clothes, okay, you have to break them down, like this glass here. Sacrilegious, right? I mean, you see that? It's beautiful. If you can break through this, okay, then you're able to drop it. Because when you see through it, meaning you have to break through the outside. You have to break through the first impression. You have to break through your excitement. Huh? This is your Confucian teaching, your idol, your patriarch, fifth patriarch. If I'm telling a Chinese, your fifth patriarch is nothing to be proud of. Okay? Even the patriarch, we laugh at them. Okay, I backtrack. Okay, so that kanpo is such a beautiful, beautiful teaching. Agree? It encapsulates all the wisdom right there. All this is really not real. It can be broken that easily. Kanpo is that it's just glass. It's like a mirror. That's all. Okay, when you're able to kanpo, then you can drop it. You can let go of the attachment. And that's why you have to give it to the Chinese teachers. they are so profound. You see that? The kan po fang xia, it is so profound that it can be used to teach low-level people as well as advanced people. Conk.
You use the word kampa in Korean. So this is not intellectual level, right? You can't do with thinking mind. Or is it inclusive all different levels, like with a thinking mind, or by seeing it through samadhi, like is it all together?
Okay, just to impress you Koreans, I put it another way for you. Kan po here also has a very, very profound and hidden lesson. Would you like to know? Okay, we take a donation basket first. I want to see how much you're donating. Okay? Kan po here. It's not just a broken glass. I only explained to you a low level to impress you. Okay, and you impressed already. There's a hidden level that for enlightened people. That's why he still look at the Bodhisattva and say, 你应该看破放下. What is he trying to tell the Bodhisattvas? Kan po is to break your views. It is so beautiful. You're not impressed. You know, it's the first time I broke down this Chinese secret for you, for the Chinese too. Kan po actually means that you drop your views. Views are the deeper level of attachments he's referring to. It's not a mark of itself, it's not a mark of others, a mark of lifespan, mark of living beings. All those are because of views. So that's why it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Kan po, kan is to see, right? Po is broken, so you break the viewing. It is so clever. The patriarchs teaching. Look at Chinese. How come no Chinese teacher told me that, including my master, YongHua? Because you guys take so many things for granted. For us, it bothered me. I said, kan po. What does it mean, kan po? I can't kan po. I don't even know what it means. See through. See through what? Huh? You see, at the first level, as I taught you, this is so beautiful because it's like a glass. You break it. That's kan po. You break the glass is worthless. That's why you can drop it. It's so clever. But at the advanced people, practical level, kan po is you need to be careful of the views. What views are we talking about? Your teacher! My teacher says so. Master YongHua says so. He says so for kindergarten people. But you're not kindergarten anymore. Master YongHua says you have to be filial to your parents. Yeah, when you're stupid. But when you're advanced, there are better ways to be filial with your parents. Like sending them to the Pure Land. What are you doing? Prolonging their lives for? Huh? Buddhist teaching, folks. The Chinese is beautiful. If you see what it ties back to my point earlier to these people is that I revere my teachers, I revere my patriarchs, I revere the first American patriarch. I said, you have to break that reverence as well. With all due respect. That's kanpo. You have to drop your own patriarch. But he could not say, have taught that, could he? He says, I spent 50 years of my life coming here to teach you, and then at the end, you should drop me. And then all his disciples would go hungry. They say, Master Shunhua told us to drop him, and therefore you as well. Sayonara, I'm moving on. But that's what he could not teach. You agree with me? There would be chaos. But that's exactly what you have to do. You have to drop your views. These people who want to learn, okay? I don't have time. You have to drop your teachers. You want to learn? Drop them. Why are you so slow? You have to drop those views, okay? You have to let go of their teachings. That's what I meant by wholesale dumping. Jewel Kong.
Master, I have a question. But at the beginning for beginners level or maybe like earlier level, when people are new to a new teaching, you cannot just say you need to drop because then they will be confused at a certain, for a certain time, right? So when people start learning, like how, like what is the safe range, like to stay in the one track before you drop your respect or attachment to your teacher?
Well, you have to drop that first yourself before you talk about helping, before you can help others drop it. What happened is that, let's be blunt about it. These people, disciple of Master Shunhua would never be able to do that. That's why he couldn't teach them, because they're not there yet. Just like you are not there yet. That's no point in saying you should do up to until 2025. That's where we're going to have all EVs. We want to make EVs. Okay? You can't do that, because you are not there. You cannot 看破放下 yourself. So therefore, all you can do is stick to the line. This is what is taught, and you cannot pretend that you understand what he's talking about, because you can't do it. Okay? So you do what you can. And if there's some people who can drop the glass and then you refer them to a high level teacher. That's all. Same thing. You can drop me, then I would say, okay, move on. And that's the difference between us and Master Shunhua. Master Shunhua is, I'm Chinese. I'm first patriarch. Okay, I'm here to tell you. Who gives a damn about patriarchs? You have to drop it. It's time for you to drop it. And that's the middle way. He couldn't say that, could he? But he should have taught his disciples, at least the good ones. Because at some point in time, his disciples who have some real wisdom will say, you have to drop our teacher. even the Dharma must be dropped. And that's what it's referring to. Remember that, huh, you Chinese people? And that's some Prajna teaching. Even the Dharma must be dropped. The Buddha Dharma must be dropped. Okay? All right, can we try to finish this thing here? See through, and that's a mark of self. Other mark of woman, see through is in there you go. You see, this is for kindergarten. Jewel Kong, go ahead.
So, Master, does that mean that most of us should just stick with our teacher? This is just to have an idea, like in the future. So most of us, is it safer to stick with what we have right now, right?
Of course, the corporate line is that you find a good new advisor to stick with them. And then you hope that one day your good new advisor will tell you, get the heck out of here. It's time for you to move on. Because your teacher has to teach you 看破 and 放下 as well, eventually, if he's any good. You cultivate what one you don't know, man or woman. You see, it bothered me. I read this as I can't do that. It's hopeless for me. Okay? I mean, look at, it's a woman right there. Look at the time they spend on doing the hair. Come on. Have a heart, you know? The time they spend on cooking to give you this bowl of beautiful noodles. And you have to 看破 and 放下. Can't do that, you know? You don't see as a man. It bothers me. You see a man, you don't see as a man. Come on, make up your mind, man. A woman, you don't see she's a woman. I mean, how is it possible? I went to college in order to discern men and women, good or bad, good and better, right? Bad and better. Okay? So for us Westerner, it really bothered me, these teachings. I said, okay, he's probably right, but I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know such mark, how can there be afflictions? Okay? Again, this is theory. Okay? And to me, I really struggle with this. I was confused. I said, I actually nearly gave up. Because I said, no one is teaching me. And the wisest teacher is telling me to look at a woman and not even see as a woman. I said, this is hopeless for me. If it's the end result, I'm nowhere near it. See, this is why I really struggle. You don't know how lucky you are. And tonight I teach you about glass and so on. Look at a woman like a glass sculpture. How's that? Okay, okay. So here we are, almost 2 hours. Thank you for your patience. I know it's a lot of sacrifices for you, especially here in these modern times. You here in Silicon Valley, you really have to put in the effort, the hard work. 5-6 days a week. 60 to 90 hours a week on the average. And so for you to take the time to come here and investigate this great sage teaching is remarkable. So kudos to you. Good job. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay. And I'm going back down south to enjoy my Thanksgiving. So lecture again tomorrow night. Okay, thank you.
We have a party and Thanksgiving. Master. Master.